7 things you probably didn't know you need to know. I'm Jamie East, and this is the Smart 7.
Good morning, everybody. It's Thursday, the 10th of November, and it's International Accounting Day. And a big happy birthday to Taron Egerton, Neil Gaiman, Hugh Bonneville, and Ellen Pompeo. Wednesday saw a long day of vote counting as America's midterm elections wrapped up. The final result will be far closer than Republican-leaning polls had suggested, with no sign of the promised red wave, as the Democrats fought an impressive battle across key states. There are still counts going on in House and Senate races, and it looks like Republicans will flip the House with a narrow majority, while the Georgia Senate race between Herschel Walker and Senator Raphael Warnock will go to a runoff in December. Lawrence O'Donnell from MSNBC was positive about the outcome for the Democrats.
Joe Biden is on the verge of being the most successful Democratic president in a midterm election that we have seen in quite some time.
The former guy, Donald Trump, dismissed claims he was annoyed by the results, which saw several of his nominees, including Dr. Oz, lose, but he had a strategy all worked out to avoid any responsibility.
Well, I think if they win, I should get all the credit, and if they lose, I should not be blamed at all, okay? But it'll probably be just the opposite.
Joe Biden addressed the nation late on Wednesday, hailed a good day for democracy, and praised the efforts of Democrats while promising to work with Republicans to get America moving.
I'm prepared to work with my Republican colleagues. The American people have made clear, I think, that they expect Republicans to be prepared to work with me as well.
The fallout from the bullying allegations that led Sir Gavin Williamson to resign continued on Wednesday, with the Lib Dems saying he should be stripped of his knighthood as well if the complaints against him are true. Sir Gavin stepped down pending the results of an investigation in light of allegations he told a civil servant to slit their throat. Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer took his moment at Prime Minister's questions to probe Rishi Sunak on appointing him as a cabinet minister. He also wasn't going to let Rishi forget about Williamson's totally normal pet, a tarantula named Cronus that he famously kept in his office at Parliament.
Mr. Speaker, if he can't even stand up to a cartoon bully with a pet spider, if he's too scared to face the public in an election, what chance has he got of running the country?
And Rishi Sunak seemed to acknowledge his mistake in appointing him, though presumably that's not to do with the spider.
Mr. Speaker, I obviously regret appointing someone who has had to resign in these circumstances. But I think what the British people would like to know is that when situations like this arise, that they will be dealt with properly.
Striking strikes again, and this time it's nurses walking out. The Royal College of Nursing is expected to announce that nurses have voted to take strike action in many parts of the country. If it goes ahead, it will be the biggest strike ever in the union's 106-year history, although emergency services will continue to be staffed. Matthew Taylor, the NHS Confederation chief exec, says he understands.
All parties need to try to find a way through this, but we have to recognise it is not just about a particular organisation or a trade union's grievances. It is about fundamental questions about how we recruit, how we retain and how we motivate our staff.
Gillian Keegan, though, thinks that nurses using food banks is okay. The Education Secretary made a bizarre excuse, suggesting they're probably just trying to replace their boilers. Right.
Did you clap for nurses during the pandemic? Of course, everyone did, yes. So are you comfortable that they're now using food banks in order to be able to survive?
Quite often when you go to food banks, it will be people, something will have happened. You know, something will have broken down, either a relationship or a boiler or anything. They're usually there in an emergency situation.
In Ukraine, Russia's set to withdraw from Kherson, which is the only regional capital it captured after invading in February. Russia's commander in Ukraine, General Sergei Surovikin, says it was no longer possible to keep supplying the city. The developments will be seen as a significant blow to President Putin's war efforts after he announced the forever annexation of Kherson only weeks ago, although the Ukrainian side are wary that the announcement intended to lure their troops into danger. Russian Foreign Minister Shoigu gave the orders.
For us, the life and health of Russian servicemen is always a priority. We must also take into account the threat to the civilian population. Make sure that all willing civilians were able to leave, proceed with the entry of troops, and take all measures to ensure the safe transfer of personnel of weapons and equipment across the Dnieper River.
Still to come on the Smart 7, Matt Hancock joins the jungle, and there's plenty of penalty action in the Carabao Cup. Right after this. Welcome back.
World Cup 2022 is only 10 days away, but the Carabao Cup never sleeps. So Wednesday night saw 8 games as round 3 wrapped up. There were more than a few shock results. Arsenal lost 3-1 to Brighton, Wolves beat Leeds 1-0 and Spurs lost 2-0 to Notts Forest. Man City comfortably beat Chelsea 2-0. 4 games went to penalties, which saw Newcastle, Blackburn and Southampton all go through to the 4th round. Liverpool were facing Derby at Anfield, but still saw a goalless draw lead to a penalty shootout which finished 3-2 to the Pool. Jurgen Klopp was relieved and delighted with his goalkeeping hero, Caoimhín Kelleher.
He's exceptional. He's absolutely exceptional. Calm as you like, can play football, and on top of that can catch balls and can keep the ball out of the net in a really good manner.
It was the moment we've all been waiting for. Matt Hancock made his long-awaited entrance into the jungle. His decision to join the show seen him lose the Tory whip and widespread criticism from the families of those who died during the COVID pandemic. Deputy Labour leader Angela Rayner wasn't too impressed.
They just want to see him eat a kangaroo's anus. They're not interested in the issues.
And fellow new campmate Sean Walsh clearly hadn't been tipped off as to who his celebrity buddy was going to be.
Matt Hancock. Matt Hancock.
It's the movie which earned a 6-minute standing ovation at the Venice Film Festival, and it sees the return of long-lost 90s movie star Brendan Fraser. It appears he's made an Oscar-worthy comeback in this heartbreaking portrayal of an obese queer man in the movie Whale. It's the latest film from Black Swan director Darren Aronofsky and sees Charlie, played by Fraser, with one last shot at redemption with his 17-year-old daughter. It doesn't come out until February next year, but you can catch the trailer now and see what all the hype's about.
Do you ever get the feeling people are incapable of not caring? People are amazing.
This has been The Smart 7. Wherever you're listening, do us a favour and hit the follow button. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Have a great day. Written, produced and published by Daft Doris.